What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett.
I'm Lance.
This is Rants or Us. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. We're on the road to 1,000, and we hope you guys can help us get there. All right, so season 3, episode 7, Mayans M.C. What do you think about it, Lance?
I think this was the probably the best episode of Mayans throughout the first three seasons.
By far. I would even say it's better than
I don't know
any of the seasons
because
compared to Sons of Anarchy, and that's saying something for me.
well, yeah, I thought that 6 and 7 have been the best episodes. I don't know which one I really like better. I think 7.
7, oh, I think 7 by far to me. I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought uh, the only thing I really got a problem with this season is Coco's storyline. I don't really like that. I wish they
I
would kind of
don't
left
care
that
for
out.
that much either.
I mean, the whole meth mountain thing. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
don't really
just
think we need
there
that.
I didn't have much interest in that part, and so that did kind of bother me because going from Coco and Angel being my two favorite characters in the show, I'm now at I don't know Bishop and EZ almost.
How they have expanded on the characters that really haven't been talked about very much is amazing this
Yeah,
season.
like Hank
Bishop,
and
Hank, all of them. I mean, even Coco to a certain extent. They've, expanded on him a lot more. But I think Bishop by far would be my favorite of this season
mine too.
of all of them.
And I remember in the past we've talked about wishing for him to be a bigger part of the show because he is supposed to be the president of the club.
Yeah.
And I think they fixed that, with this.
Yeah, I think
And I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think they actually have too. I think Bishop is, learning about his backstory, learning about the death of his child, learning about his
and there's still more to learn about these things.
Do what?
And there's still more to be learned about his story.
Learning about how it kind of broke up his marriage. And then, of course, his ex-wife now leaving for, what is it, Tucson or Scottsdale?
Yeah.
Arizona. I mean, there's a lot of things that's going on. I absolutely love the back and forth between him and his ex-wife. Like, he's such a douche in that way, but he's right, like, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, I get where he's coming from for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if that was my kid, I would feel the exact same way towards her in every way. But, I love the dialogue between him and Alvarez. He was an Alvarez loyalist, and now he's like, dude, you kind of ruined my life, and now you're not even Mayan anymore, and you're still trying to tell me what to do.
that's the big thing I think is when everybody tries to be like, what does Alvarez think about this?
Well, screw Alvarez.
He's like, he's not a Mayan. What does it matter what he thinks?
I know, and I think
he should be that way. I can't believe more people aren't that way.
I know. Well, I mean,
and I like Alvarez. Alvarez he was always a good character, even on Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah. I mean,
so I do like Alvarez. I'm not saying that, but I get where Bishop is coming from.
Well, it's kind of like anytime that guy's some SOA character that comes on there, they're like, well, what would Jax think? Jax is dead. Like,
and I'm glad that kind of got addressed too, because they said something about Jax Taylor at the beginning. He's like, who the fuck is Jax Taylor?
I know. And like, why should
so they're kind of, I felt like that was kind of them putting their message out. This is not SOA.
Yeah, this isn't SOA.
We're going to do our own thing.
Yeah.
So I like that because, me and you've talked about the struggles of for them to try to stay away from SOA to at least somewhat.
Yeah, and I felt like, when this show...
And I felt like that was their way of being like, hey, we're not going to be SOA. This is a whole nother show here.
No. And you know what? I think it's coming into its own in season 3. But what do you think of the Adelita storyline? I know I thought it was going to go more towards Adelita Angel trying to build this relationship, but it's kind of going in the opposite direction. With Adelita
Yeah,
basically trying to get her children back, basically.
I'm really not big on that storyline, really, this season.
It got really dark where her, basically her lieutenant was like raping people and, the little
Yeah,
kids there. Like that got really dark really quick with that storyline. I personally don't like it. I don't really. I would have liked it better if Angel and Adelita was concerned about trying to get their kid back or find or getting revenge on their kid or
yeah.
whatever
I think there's
may
still
go
going
on
to
with it.
be, at least for Angel's character, I still think there's going to be some kind of big
Reveal.
reveal or something about his kid. I do feel that.
I do too. I feel like there's gotta be. I mean, you can't just leave it at that kid's dead and they're moving on. Like to me, I kind of feel like Angel needs that kid. He needs even Adelita to a certain extent to make him uh, a better character, a more grounded
Yeah,
character.
a stronger character.
Yeah. Right now, he's just Easy's brother in a lot of different ways in season 3. I
It's
mean,
season three.
it
I can
yeah,
give you that, but I really enjoyed Angel the first two seasons. I
I
just
did.
kind of
I did too. A
I
lot
feel
more than I
like,
enjoyed Easy.
and I feel like it's kind of hard because they were wanting to expand on these other characters, and it would be hard to still keep up with this storyline over here for
Yeah.
these. It's that would be tough, and so maybe they just kind of they're spread so thin, maybe
Yeah,
on trying to fit all these characters into one show. Or
I'm telling you, the Mayans on Mayans um, fight that's going on has really expanded on, like you said, the bringing all these different characters together. But I feel like even though they're bringing all these characters together, they are doing a really good job of expanding on their story a little bit more.
I think
Um,
so. I think, but like I said, I think it's really hard for them to keep up with every character like we
yeah.
would really want.
We take that Oakland crew, that the leader of that Oakland gang. Where he was talking to Bishop, he's like, "I remember you when you were just a little kid, and your feet couldn't touch the ground or whatever it is on the motorcycle."
Just the things.
Yeah, touch spec. And I'm like, just that little sentence right there gives him a story, gives us something that we can be like, okay,
Yeah.
this is a guy that's got history with the gang.
And it also
It's weird
talked
how a
on
little comment like that can go a long
how
ways.
close of cousins him and Bishop and Alvarez are.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
because he was talking about Alvarez would put him on his bike and his feet
yeah,
couldn't even touch the pegs, and
yeah,
so yeah, that gave you the connection with him and Alvarez even further.
yeah, yeah. I feel like just that little story like that added so much depth to not just Alvarez, Bishop, and that Oakland leader's Mayans leader story so
Yeah,
much. I mean, and so I'm glad they included that. What
yeah,
did you think about all the baseball bats and all that stuff? Like, did you love that? Did you hate it? I mean,
I loved all of it. Like I did. I
I
didn't have any problem with the actions on
w-
this show.
when it first started, and there's that guy who's driving back. He's like, they killed whatever that guy's name was, and then
He's
all of a
talking to his
sudden,
girlfriend or whatever.
yeah, and I'm like, who is this guy? Like, and should we care about this guy? Then all of a sudden they start beating him with bats. And I'm like, oh, that was actually really cool. And
Yeah,
go in there, tattoo parlor, go in there, check out those guys with that. I'm like, that was pretty brutal, but that was an amazing scene right there.
yeah, it
Like,
was great.
I
It was
mean,
great.
the only thing that I did not really like about it was at the hotel. What was supposed to be the end game to that? Were they going to beat them to death with bats? Like, was that really how they were going to go and handle that situation? I mean, what do you think? You're going to beat them with bats and
I
then,
guess they thought they were going to beat him into submission. I don't know. I really that I don't know.
I
Uh,
didn't really understand that because there was that. You remember? that one member of the Stockton gang made that comment to Creeper, "You're going to be dead, before you get out of jail there." And I'm like, so was their intention really to either beat them up or was it to kill them with the bats? Like, what was the deal? Like, and if that was the case,
Yeah.
why didn't they go in there guns
I think it
blazing?
was to inflict as much damage as possible without drawing the attention of the police.
Could very well have been. I mean, but I will say that the ending with Easy taking out the Stockton leader was pretty amazing. Stockton King was pretty amazing. Like that was kind of, I won't say it was unexpected, but it was a really cool scene. I enjoyed it. I really
I
enjoyed
knew
that.
something was going to happen the way they were leading up to it, but I
Yeah,
didn't know it was going to be easy. Like,
yeah. As soon as I saw that
although
cop,
I did think it would be something to do with Easy because he was like, I know what we do.
yeah, yeah. When I saw that cop, I'm like, oh, I remember him. Like he owes
Yeah,
them a favor. So it's
yeah.
like, I thought, but I mean, I thought overall, I thought that storyline has not just been good, but I feel like it's like exceeded and expanded the
I just,
brilliance
like
of
I
the
said,
show.
my favorite thing about this entire season is what they're doing with Bishop.
Yeah,
How much of a part of it they're making him to be like that. I'm loving that.
well, it's like at the end of season 2, we were thinking that it's going to be Mayans versus SOA. I remember we did a couple of videos like, what is this going to be like? Like, are we going to see, you
Yeah, I
know,
never could imagine what they're doing with it.
yeah, are we going to see Chibs happy? Are they going to live? We've seen Happy once. We hadn't seen Chibs at all. So I mean, and I kind of am glad that it didn't go that way because I think this Mayans versus Mayans escalation is the way to go. I mean, I think it's been
it's the
excellent.
for me this is to me it's better than even SOA
Oh,
because
by
you
far.
never really saw a whole lot of that. You saw the inner club
Mm-hmm.
stuff, but you didn't see like club versus club
No, no,
very
you didn't.
much, very much, except for when that little bit of time when they were in Ireland. But
Yeah, I feel like it's given it
to
depth
me,
to
this
a
is
certain
more
extent.
interesting, and it kind of to me, it's more of a brotherhood this way because
Yeah, feels that
this
way.
charter is a charter. They're not fighting amongst themselves;
Yeah,
they're fighting other charters,
yeah.
and I enjoyed that part of it. You know,
Oh, I think by far, I think they picked the right amount of violence and they picked the right amount of inner club turmoil to make this show. I mean, it's taking this show, I feel like, to a whole new level. Like,
I think so.
I mean,
I think it's great.
I mean, I went into this season thinking, am I gonna love it? Am I gonna hate it? I
Now,
got done with the
I'll
first
be
two
the first
episodes
to
and I didn't
admit.
really like it. But now I'm like, whoa, this season has exceeded anything that it's done before, and
Yeah,
it's even
but I
exceeded
will
what
admit the
SOA
first
did.
two episodes of this season, I was like, oh no, it's going downhill.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of the way I
But
felt doing it.
it revved up.
Oh, it
Like
did.
it took off, you know. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I'm loving this season so far. The only thing that I will say I really, truly, truly worry about is Gabby. Do you think she's gonna make it to the end of the season?
I don't know, man. I doubt it.
I doubt.
I mean, I hope she does because I don't want to see them trying to push this Emily and Easy thing. But I really don't. I don't know. They seem like they're getting away from that.
I really hope they are. And you know what? This show, I remember we had done a video a few months back where we're like, Galindo really needs to step up his game and be the enemy that they need. But now that he hasn't really been in this season too much, I'm like, I don't even think they need Galindo at this point. Like, I think the show's better off without him
I
and the
think
turmoil that
that
goes around him.
I think that they can always come back to him
Yeah,
later and make a really good run with the storyline.
yeah.
But right now, he hasn't been needed. I will say that.
No, no, I
He
don't
hasn't
feel.
been needed. I don't necessarily say that he doesn't need to be on the show later on, but for what's going on right now, it's like when they show stuff about Glenda, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. It's like every time that they show Glendo, I'm like, it's kind of, especially when it was dealing with his mom and he was having that little breakdown, and I'm like, that doesn't really do it for me. That was one reasons why I didn't like the first two episodes of this season, was because I was like, he's a cartel leader and he's like freaking out, begging a psychiatrist to tell him more about his mom, and it's
that
like,
it wasn't his fault. For some reason, he thinks it's his fault she killed herself. I don't.
dude, he can't even. He's a card. Think about this for a second. He's a cartel leader that can't even make a psychiatrist break patient psychiatrist laws. Like, I mean,
Doctor patient
yeah,
privilege.
yeah, confidentiality. Like, I mean, this is a cartel leader here. This isn't just your ordinary guy, a cartel leader. And that
Yeah, I get what
psychiatrist
you're
is like, I
saying. I
can't tell
do.
you that. And he's like, I
I get
can't
what you're
force you
saying. But I think with this rebel group getting fired back up, they're going to pay some more attention that way too. But
And I could, you know what, as long as it doesn't involve the Mayans with the cartel, I'm cool with that. I wish the cartel would kind of do their own thing. Try to, if it's cartel versus cartel,
I
cool.
think it's
But
going to have to. I think they're going to do something like that. But I do think it's going to have to tie back into minds, or people completely lose interest in it.
I don't believe that we're done with the Emily
I don't
easy
either.
thing. I just don't
Okay,
think
so if
so.
Gabby does die this season, how does she die?
You know what? I know you and I had talked off screen about that a couple of days ago, where we were like, if she dies, what if it's Easy and Angel's father that does it?
Yeah,
Like,
I wondered that. I
you know,
said that, and I just thought it would be kind of a weird twist. Like,
if he does
he's doing it
that,
to teach Easy a lesson because he killed Glendo's mom.
I'm gonna just pronounce this show the greatest show of all time,
I mean,
and
that would be
just
a cool.
leave
That's
it
how I
that
would
way.
like. He would spin some crazy crap like
Yeah.
that,
I
but
mean,
I don't know.
if they did something that was so outrageous like that, I would be like a fan for life. I'd never say anything bad about this show, because I'm like, they did something that was so horrendous, so out of the
That
ordinary.
even if we're in a debate with someone, you could always come back to that. Like,
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
even if this show wasn't the greatest show of all time, they did do this.
yeah,
you know,
it's like it's like with the whole Jim and Tara thing. It's like you saw that coming from a mile away, but
yeah,
it's like
but
with
it's how
this,
she
like
did
you
it.
would
So
never expect this. But I mean, think about it. This is a really a cold. The father is really cold blooded.
it
So,
can be,
so
you
I
know.
mean, it's not exactly above what he would do.
Especially like imagine, that would be so much shock value after seeing her and his relationship too.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, well, I
she
mean,
went over there, took care of him, and all that, and then he kills her. Like you'd be like,
I
what
know,
just happened?
I know. Like, I could, you know what? But if, like I said, it's doubtful that they'll go that way. But if they do go that
I
way, that
doubt
would
it
be
too, but it'd
awesome.
be awesome.
I don't think it's going to be Galindo. I think it will probably be. I would say Alvarez. I would say
I don't
Alvarez is the
understand
one.
why he would though.
Not necessarily trying to kill her, but in like trying to kill either Easy, Bishop, or one of the others, maybe going down that route and doing something like that. I could see something like that happening. But I just don't see her living. I just don't.
It could be that Hanche guy kills her trying to get Easy too.
It could very
The
well
other
be.
king.
Yeah, could be, because look, they've already put out a hit on him. I've never understood why they put out a hit on him. I mean, it's like you have Bishop, you have Tazza, you have Hank, you have all these
Well, he was
guys
probably, let's be
that are
honest, at this point, he was probably the easiest patch member to get to.
true, but I mean, if you're a king, why would you go after the easiest? Like, what is that going to do? Like, what is that really? That's not
Yeah,
cutting the head off anything. I mean,
yeah.
it's like that really brought on this whole situation in the first place. Them doing
I think
something.
it kind of would have been better. I do kind of think it would have been better if he had tried to kill Bishop and failed. Because then the whole club's like, all right,
Yeah, we've got to do something. If you go after our leader, we got to take you out. And so
yeah.
but I'm like going after Easy. I'm like,
I get what
that
you're
was kind
saying
of a
there.
lame move.
But then there might be reasoning behind it later that we find out.
It could very well be. You know what? It I guess it was him that did put out the hit, but it would be kind of interesting, and maybe it was Alvarez at the end of the day that was the one that actually licensed it and said, "Hey, y'all go ahead and do something like that." I think Alvarez now is going to be the villain. I
think he'd make a good one, man. I do. I think I would actually enjoy that a little bit, especially if it's one of those things like Bishop keeps saying he's not a Mayan no more, and Alvarez is, let me show you why I'm the Godfather.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Alvarez is the type of person that actually killed his own son on SOA. Like, I mean, so we're talking about a guy that kills his own son. Like, he's a cold-blooded, guy. Like, he don't mess around. Mayans was his baby, and if he feels like Bishop's screwing it up or not listening to him, because like you said, he feels like he's the godfather of this. And he's not going to give that up just because he's working with Galindo. Like, I think he's proven that already. But, I mean, overall, what would you give this episode?
Ooh, for me, it's a 9.
I would give it a 9 easily.
The only reason I don't say 10 is the Coco thing. I just, was...
There was the Coco thing I'm not really a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of the Adelita storyline.
Yeah, there's that too for me. And so those couple things kind of just took it down a point. Like,
yeah, but but
when I give something, okay, when either one of us gives something a 9, that is a very high score.
I know.
I think that might be the highest we've had on Rants R Us.
I've known you for 20 years, and we picked apart shows. You can ask our wives. We picked apart. Don't listen to our conversations. We completely pick
drives them nuts.
The shows that we love. Like, we picked apart Harry Potter, Mayans, SOA, Supernatural, all these different shows. If you would think that we hated these shows, but we actually truly love these shows. That's why we pick it apart, because we expect so much better of it. So when we do give it a 9, I think that does say a lot about this episode.
It really does.
Because we rarely do that. I mean, that's what
I'm saying. I think that's the highest we've had here.
Yeah, I think with Mayans, definitely, because usually I'm kind of like, I'm not really big on it, but I'm getting to think this is one of the best shows on television right now.
I definitely think it is. This one, and for me, Superman and Lois.
Yeah, Superman and Lois by far.
Those are the best 2 shows on TV right now.
Yeah, Superman and Lois is up there. I feel like Superman and Lois is one show that hasn't really disappointed me yet. And I'm still waiting for that one episode that's going to do it. So I'm still a little bit hesitant to constantly say, well, it's, better than...
But for me, those are the best 2 shows on TV right now. Is that
most interesting shows, definitely. Now, I am looking forward to that Loki show a little bit later on, but I'm still iffy on Marvel. But that's a whole different story.
Marvel's done pissed me off with all that. I'm like...
WandaVision, I'm still pissed about WandaVision.
I am too, that's what I'm saying, and then this wasn't much better.
Huh?
Falcon and Winter Soldier wasn't much better.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a lot worse. Like,
in my opinion,
it was a lot worse. But overall, I think we, both of us give this a 9. I can't wait till next episode. I think we're going to find out a lot more next episode. I think some things are really going to start going down. There's going to be an Alvarez Bishop confrontation somewhere that's in there. Would not shock me if there's another hit, another surprise death. Of course, we're going to learn the fate of Coco. I don't personally think he's going to die. Do
I
you
don't
think he's
either.
gonna die? I
I
don't
don't
either.
either.
I don't think
It's
he
like I
is.
told you. You at first you were like, I think he was already dead, and
Yeah,
I
me
told you I
too.
thought there was gonna be a way they're gonna pump him and bring him back,
Yeah.
and but something's gonna happen with him with the club finding out things that he's been up to, him being an addict, him probably stealing a key from him. Like all this is gonna come to light at some point.
I remember telling you this.
I think that storyline's coming to a head is basically
The only way that I would want Coco to die in that way is for simply because his daughter told him that I hope you overdosed, and the
God.
consequences that could come from that would be really good television in a really sad, tragic way. But that would be the only thing that I would
I wouldn't
say,
want that,
and I don't
honestly.
even want that. Like
I,
I would rather.
I, I don't have an interest in that part of it. Like, I would much rather them find out the things he's doing and the club have to handle Coco.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another thing that I would like this show really to talk a little bit more about is the whole thing with Tazza. And what about that dude that was coming
He's still
after
just
him? Like,
wandering out in the desert dressed like a border patrol or what?
yeah, I know it's like that was like episode 3, and we're on what 7 now. So I'm like,
I think it was episode 4,
yeah. So
but
I'm like,
yeah, it's been a little bit.
and I thought that was going to be a bigger deal this season, and that hasn't been anything.
Well, I think what's supposed to happen is that they're gonna find that body that Tazza hid of that SOA member.
Oh, I think so too. I think so
And
too.
so something's supposed to pop off there.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
I
definitely.
do think that's gonna happen. That body's gonna get discovered and SOA is gonna start looking into things down here.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely think so too. I definitely think there's going to be something that's going to go on with
Within
that.
the next 2 episodes, I would
And
say.
there was also, of course, the Happy coming to him and basically, trying to put them in their place. And I'm like, nothing's really happened with that. Wouldn't shock me if we see Happy down the line or Chibs or one of them, in these next couple episodes or
Here's one.
so, just
Here's
to remind
one
us
for
of
you.
them.
We talked about this earlier, but what if it's Happy that kills Gabby?
Could very well be. I mean, there
He
might have
killed his
been.
mom.
You know what? If they do that, that'd be incredibly tragic because then at that point, Happy does have to die. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to die. I remember we talked about Happy, before this season even began, Happy wasn't going to survive it. I thought Happy was going to have a bigger role.
I thought he was going to have a bigger role.
And he hasn't,
at this point, he hasn't yet, but that might change towards the end. He might be the big villain.
You know what? I didn't think about that, but the whole bringing in SOA, that could be a good way to start. SOA
they find the body and they kind of start to piece things together.
Yeah.
Happy might take her out to send, to try to get it easy, or be trying to kill Easy and hit her on accident.
It could very well be. That would be a good way to pull in for the next season an SOA Mayan showdown. Like, yeah. I mean, that could be something in those ways. But overall, guys, I think that's about it for me. What about you?
I'm good. I said my piece.
Yeah. But overall,
and then
guys,
some.
Let us know what y'all think down below. Did y'all love it? Did you hate it? Do you love this season of Mayans MC as much as what we do? What do you think that they miss? What do you think that they do right in? Let us know in your comments down below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. And y'all take